Good evening and welcome to Interconnection 2020, a virtual fundraiser for grid alternatives. Tonight you will hear from incredible renewable energy advocates who are working together to save the planet. Remember, you can donate while you are watching by clicking the Donate Now button below the video or the link in the YouTube description. Let's start the show by introducing someone who really knows how to bring people together for good, Adam Badwound, Vice President of Philanthropy.
Welcome, everyone, to Interconnection 2020. I'm Adam Badwound, Vice President of Philanthropy at Grid Alternatives and founder of our Tribal Solar Accelerator Fund. Thank you so much for your support. I'm so honored to serve as your MC for our virtual gathering. Tonight is a unique experience for me and for Grid. It's our first online event as the result of a global pandemic. As you know, safety is a core value at Grid, and while we originally planned to hold this celebration in person in San Francisco, we're adapting this year in hopes that everyone is safe and healthy. Please forgive us in advance for any technical issues that might arise during our program tonight, as this is a new platform for us, but we wanted to take this opportunity for our community to come together and gather virtually. I hope you're all taking good care. Here at Grid, we are continuing our work where we can to make sure clean, renewable energy is available to all. It's only possible with the generosity of people like you. But don't just take my word for it.
Grid Alternatives was founded during the 2001 California energy crisis by Tim Sears and Erica Mackey.
They were two engineering professionals who were implementing large-scale renewable energy and energy efficiency projects for the private sector.
The idea that drove them to Grid was simple. Free, clean electricity from the sun should be available for everyone.
Typically, under-resourced communities and communities of color disproportionately bear the burden of environmental injustice and climate change.
Therefore, the voices and leadership of communities on the front lines of these issues are key to creating equitable and lasting solutions.
So this is our vision and our mission. Grid Alternatives' vision is to transition to clean, renewable energy that includes everyone.
Our mission is to make renewable energy technology and job training accessible to underserved communities.
Today, Grid is the nation's largest nonprofit solar installer and a leading voice in low-income solar policy.
We serve families in California, Colorado, the Mid-Atlantic region, and tribal communities nationwide.
In addition, our international program works with communities in Mexico, Nepal, and Nicaragua to increase energy access.
Here at Grid Alternatives, we strive to continue to make solar technology accessible to underserved communities while providing a pathway to clean energy jobs.
It's such a joy to work with so many smart and dedicated people. Tonight, we're going to celebrate Grid's work, honor some incredible climate and renewable energy champions, and hear from Alex Honnold, my favorite rock climbing solar advocate. You can continue to help us by donating to Grid anytime during the broadcast by clicking the Donate Now button below the video or the link in the YouTube description. Now, before I have the immense pleasure of introducing one of our co-founders, I would like to share a message from our Gigawatt sponsor, Sunrun.
By creating and storing energy one home at a time, we can work together to power the whole neighborhood and the whole nation. The time for solar is now.
And special thanks to our other Gigawatt sponsor, Tesla. Tesla is accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy with electric cars, solar panels, and integrated renewable energy. We could not do this work without the support of our sponsors. Now, please join me in welcoming one of our two co-founders, Tim Sears.
Hi, Adam. Great to see you.
Hey, Tim.
And hello to everyone out there watching. Thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight.
Tim, it's so cool to see you at Interconnection 2020 and at home. How's the party at your place tonight?
It's pretty rocking. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Me too. Wow, I never thought I'd be attending a benefit event from my home living room and that my cat, Kitty Pot Pie, would be my date. He seems to have wandered to the other side of our home ballroom, but I'm guessing that he's really only here for the free food. Anyway, now I hope all of you have your festive solar-themed drinks, cocktails, or mocktails at hand, or any beverage of your choice. Get ready, and now let's raise a glass and make a toast to Interconnection 2020. coming together from our homes to celebrate Grid. And now I'd like to share a special toast. To our clients, job trainees, and all those we serve, for your strength in the face of racism and social justice, climate change and environmental justice, and all those on the front lines of job security and economic opportunity, we honor you. To our training partners and volunteers, from the top of the roof to our virtual boardrooms, we salute you and thank you for your tremendous service. To our interns, fellows, staff, and everyone working for Grid, we could not pursue this mission without your sense of passion and purpose, and thank you for all of your hard work. We appreciate you, each and every one of you. To our partners in the solar industry and solar policy advocates, we stand with you in a true spirit of cross-sector collaboration toward our shared renewable energy goals. And finally, as this is a benefit, we toast to our members, donors, sponsors, and supporters. We share your vision for a clean energy economy, and we thank you most sincerely for your financial support. You are part of something big. You are part of the Grid Alternatives community. Thank you so much for all of your support. Tonight, we toast to you. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for that, Adam. Wow, I've got to say, this is a little surreal. Never would have thought when Erica Mackey and I started Grid Alternatives all those years ago that I would be addressing you all tonight from my home while sheltering in place from a global pandemic. My heart goes out to all those who've taken sick, and I want to express tremendous gratitude to those frontline workers, from doctors to delivery people, who are putting themselves in harm's way so that the rest of us can continue to shelter safely in place. This whole situation really highlights how interdependent we all are and shows the importance of interconnection. And it was this realization back in 2004 that while all of our fates are intertwined, when it came to climate change, far too often the communities that were most negatively impacted were being left behind when it came to renewable energy solutions. And that wasn't right then, and it's not right now. So Grid Alternatives has taken action so that communities on the front lines of climate injustice are going solar. They're participating in the installation process, they're getting the skills needed to join the solar workforce, and they're demanding clean energy solutions for their neighborhoods. Every Grid Alternatives project has a triple bottom line: people, planet, and employment. Our offices serve California, Colorado, the Washington, D.C. area, tribal nations across this country, as well as remote communities in Nicaragua, Nepal, and Mexico. The projects Grid has installed to date will offset over 1 million tons of greenhouse gases. And that's a tremendous accomplishment that we should all feel proud of and celebrate, but there's so much more work to be done. Climate change is intertwined with major issues like economic equity, social justice, and environmental racism. And it's absolutely critical that renewable energy solutions intentionally address all these issues if we're going to achieve a clean and just energy future. This is a difficult time for us all, and Grid Alternatives is no exception. But what keeps me going is the knowledge that the work we are doing is even more important than ever in this time as our country and the world deals with and then recovers this global pandemic. Grid Alternatives is about solar power that lowers people's electric bills so they have more money in their pocket. It's about training the workforce for the new green economy that all of our futures depend on. Grid is a solar installer, a community engager, a job trainer, and a policy advocate. And for all this work, we depend on you. Together, we can build a renewable energy future that's just as good for families as it is for the environment. So please, you know what's coming. please click on that Donate Now button and help support us even more. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. And we're now going to watch a video that highlights some of the impacts of grid alternatives. But first, I want to thank our amazing event sponsors. So thank you to our gigawatt sponsors, Sunrun and Tesla, our megawatt sponsors, Enphase, Davis Wright Tremaine, EVgo, and Wells Fargo, and our kilowatt sponsors, Peninsula Clean Energy, MCE, KBI, and BayWa RE. And I also want to give a special thanks to Victor Vasquez and the team from the Bank of San Francisco for helping us navigate the Paycheck Protection Program. Thank you all.
Wow, that was so inspiring, and I'm so happy to work here. I'm Erica Simmons, Vice President of Workforce Development and Service Learning. I am so grateful for the team here at GRID, our board, volunteers, trainees, partners, and funders. Thank you all. I'm also quite camera shy, so if you're wondering when is a good time to click that donate button Tim was talking about and fill out that form, go ahead and do it now. I don't mind. I'd love to share a little bit about the work we do. Grid Alternatives provides hands-on solar training. Literally a classroom on a rooftop, field, anywhere we install, design, and promote solar and clean energy technology so that people can gain the tools they need to start a career in solar. Our workforce training programs engage people from all various life experiences. Among those we serve are veterans, folks who are rebuilding their lives after incarceration, single moms, and young people, like Ryan Shelton. A few years back, Ryan was a teenager in the suburbs of LA and was lacking economic opportunities. He ended up serving time, and as he was transitioning out, he had serious doubts about his ability to gain long-term employment. Luckily, he went from serving time to being of service. First, as a member of the Conservation Corps, then as a Solar Jobs Second Chances intern with our Los Angeles office, and then even served a year through our Solar Corps Fellowship. Throughout Ryan's time, he proactively improved his skills and took advantage of the opportunity. Today, he continues to thrive on the storage side of solar as a battery installer. And he's also a student, studying to become an electrician. He aspires to have his own business and/or nonprofit one day. Ryan and his journey matter. The reason I'm here today is that over a decade ago, I decided I wanted to make sure young people from communities like mine were exposed to the economic opportunities of the green economy and that they recognize their value, their significant value within that space. Stories like Ryan's are what we aim to be a part of here at GRID, and there is so much more work to do. Right now, we have the impacts of COVID-19 magnifying for us the reality of economic, racial, and environmental injustices and their rippling and intersecting impacts. As Black, brown, and poor communities face disproportionate burden during this time. Over the years, I realized how much we need young people, not just as workers in the green economy, but also, and even more importantly so, as leaders creating one. You see, young people from our college students who join us for Solar Spring Break trips, to our fabulous, fabulous Solar Corps fellows, hey y'all, and our many job trainees. They bring their excitement for GRID's work and they inspire us all. GRID strives to uplift youth, shine light on their incredible abilities, and provide pathways for their leadership in the renewable energy industry and beyond. That is why I take such pleasure in introducing our first honoree for the night, the Sunrise Movement.
Green New Deal.
The Green New Deal.
Green
New
The
Deal.
Green New Deal.
They call themselves the Sunrise Movement.
Speaker Pelosi, Democratic leadership, we are asking you to grow up.
My journey here started at Standing Rock, and it started with everyday people doing exactly what you all were doing.
The Green New Deal is a vision to stop this climate crisis, to stop this inequality of race and class, to create millions of good jobs, to finally build that America that was always promised.
I wasn't really politically involved at all. I was actually a really angry person before I joined Sunrise.
I felt helpless every time that I heard about something in the news.
I didn't have a lot of community, but I found it in the Sunrise Movement.
In any other movement, I wouldn't find myself looking up to a middle schooler.
Vote yes on the Green New Deal.
You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway.
Like, middle schoolers are my heroes.
That is the politics of our time. Regular people, my age, stepping up. And when we do that, the politicians of the era before us, the politicians who have failed us, as we step up, they may need to step down. And some of them, bold leaders of courage and wisdom, will continue to fight for us. And others will make some room.
Middle schoolers are totally my heroes too. The Sunrise Movement is galvanizing young people to push our elected leaders to take decisive action now to thwart and reverse climate change. With nearly 300 hubs across the US, the Sunrise Movement uses get out the vote methods, sit-ins, and community education to ensure legislators commit to supporting a just climate future and then holding them accountable to make sure that they do so. We are so proud to honor the Sunrise Movement tonight, represented by a leader from Northern California, Stephen McCourt.
Hello, Grid Alternatives, and everybody tuning in to Interconnection 2020. My name is Stephen Markwart, and I'm an organizer with Sunrise Movement and the founder of the Sunrise Chico Hub. Sunrise Movement is so honored to receive this award this year, and I'm personally really bummed that I don't get to be down there in San Francisco with you all. But being bummed is nothing new to myself or to my generation, because we've been let down by our political leaders and our institutions, and at this point, have to take matters into our own hands if we have any chance at meaningfully addressing the climate crisis and creating a livable future that we deserve. I moved to Chico in August of 2018 on a dream to start a food cart to transition our diets as a way to address the climate crisis. And 3 months after that, the Camp Fire broke out and burned 3 of our neighboring towns to the ground, killed 85 people, and left us breathing the dirtiest air in the world at one point. Just a month before that fire, the United Nations came out with a report from the IPCC that told us that we had just 12 years to cut global emissions in half if we had any chance at avoiding a climate catastrophe. And this was one of the scariest moments of my life, and the point at which I realized I needed to do more than just sell insect-based and vegan-based tacos out of a food cart. I need to make a deeper, more holistic impact if I had a chance at addressing this crisis. I needed to organize. And so that's what I started to do last February out here in Chico. The Sunrise Movement is building an army of young people to stop climate change and create millions of good jobs in the process. We burst onto the scene in November of 2018, right after the midterm elections, when we held a sit-in at Nancy Pelosi's office demanding that she support a Green New Deal, the 10-year plan to mobilize every aspect of our society in order to decarbonize our economy, provide good and meaningful jobs to everybody who needs one, and to empower the frontline and vulnerable communities who have been historically oppressed in this country and who face the worst effects of the climate crisis. Now, we cannot initiate this Green New Deal without a broad and diverse coalition of movements, political leaders, organizations, and more. And this award is a beautiful reflection of that coalition that we're building. This award shows that the youth in this country are shifting the politics of what's possible. And it shows that Sunrise is the movement leading this charge. And this award will allow us to build up our membership to get to the numbers that we need for the changes we demand. Fortunately, I've been able to see firsthand the work that Grid Alternatives does. They put in solar panels at the Chico Women's Club a couple of months back. Chico Women's Club is a really important community space for us out here. And I thought it would be really important for me to see what it was like to actually initiate the change towards renewable energy that we so often call for in this movement. I thought it would be important for me to get my hands on those solar panels and see what that work was like. And it was a great opportunity. And just seeing that impact, seeing the impact that Grid Alternatives has on these communities and on the futures of people who they employ and who they train, it makes me hopeful that we will build the future that we deserve. So on behalf of the Sunrise Movement, thank you so much to Grid Alternatives for this award. Thank you to the work that your organization is doing. And we look forward to collaborating with you all in the future.
Amazing. Thank you, Stephen, and the Sunrise Movement. I'm so inspired by your leadership and for really showing up for our most urgent and intersectional issues. Hi, friends. I'm Anna Bautista, Vice President of Construction. At Grid, we are building power now. We've collectively built a 60 megawatt solar power plant distributed across roofs and lots in neighborhoods on the front lines of environmental and economic justice. These systems are expected to generate $390 million in long-term savings for over 15,800 families. These installations have been the backdrop to trainees learning solar construction and maintenance skills and getting hands-on experience to help them access future clean energy careers. Next up, Frank, one of our trainees, shares his story.
I was looking towards the solar industry. I was hitting and missing, finding different opportunities that wasn't really panning out. It was really frustrating to go in and think you're going to get a job and they say, no, you're not qualified. It was hard. When I went to Grid, I was getting the experience to learn. So now when I do approach an employer, I can say I do have knowledge and skills. I grew up in a low-income community. I actually did an install that was a few blocks from where I grew up. Now that I'm in the industry, I can help my community more.
As a woman of color in construction, I'm proud of the initiatives Grid has launched to engage and center underrepresented folks in our training programs, including cisgendered and trans women, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and those impacted by the justice system. In 2018, 63% of Grid participants and job trainees self-identified as people of color. 30% identified as women. We know that to support the leadership of a diverse workforce, we must work alongside industry partners to intentionally provide workplaces that are first, inclusive, and equitable. With your help, we can do more. I'm proud to introduce our next speaker, a strong industry ally and leader in this effort. I'm also so appreciative of the guidance, resources, and advocacy for safety and recovery that they have provided to our industry during this time. Please welcome our wonderful friend of Grid, Abigail Hopper, CEO of SEIA, the Solar Energy Industries Association.
Hi, my name is Abby Hopper. I'm the president and CEO of SEIA. I'm so happy to be here with you virtually today. SEIA is your national trade association, and our members are building a clean energy future. Grid Alternatives is a critical part of that vision and has an unparalleled reputation within our industry. Grid's work helps to propel the industry forward by making solar energy accessible and available to all communities. Through their work advocating for solar, expanding the industry's footprint, and training the next generation of solar workers, they bolster the work of private industry. Grid has partnered with so many of our companies and will continue to do so in the future. Their training programs create a pipeline of expert installers across the nation. SEIA is proud to work with Grid, and on a personal note, I'm also a proud donor to the We Give Circle. Grid has been a critical partner for SEIA in our work on improving diversity, equity, and inclusion within the industry, and Grid has blazed the trail for women in all levels of solar. And so please, let's all raise a glass for Grid Alternatives, a great cause for celebration. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Abby. Thanks for being such a great partner, friend, and supporter of our work. Hey, everyone. I'm Zach Franklin. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer here at Grid Alternatives. And when I started at Grid almost 15 years ago, we focused exclusively on residential solar. The opportunity was clear. Low-income households spend 4 times more of their income on energy bills than other families do. These families also often bear the worst impacts of fossil fuel pollution and climate change, but have the least access to clean renewable energy technologies in the traditional marketplace. Using solar power to help the planet and put money back into the pockets of families made sense then, and especially makes sense now. Here's a short video clip about Saba, who got solar on her home with Grid.
I came from Eritrea to Sudan, from Sudan to United States. Me and my husband, when we divorced, my children is with me. It's very, very hard. I can't believe it, like it's miracle, like smart, you know. They just take the sun and they can buy light, it saves energy. It's very big help for us. I would say thank you for everything always.
I love that story. We all know what a difference getting solar can make for a family. Now is a particularly great time to make a donation to Grid. Every day we're seeing how the same families that are on the front lines of the climate crisis are also on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. A donation to Grid is a great way to provide immediate financial support to frontline communities while also investing in long-term climate solutions for the Earth we all share. And to talk a little bit more about how the fundraising is going, hey, here's Adam Badwoon. Hey, Adam.
Hi, Zach. Great to see you.
Great to see you too, Adam. Hey, Adam, do you like renewable energy jokes? Don't worry, they're all clean.
Yeah, shoot.
Have you heard the one about the photon that goes to the airport?
Oh boy, you got me.
All right, just imagine sort of a pre-COVID-19 world. A photon goes to the airport and goes to check in at the Southwest counter. The Southwest agent says, "Hi, Mr. Photon, do you have any bags to check today?" And the photon says, "Nope, I'm traveling light."
Okay, thanks, Zach. Wow, your comedy is really a solar sensation. Let's just say, I think you should keep your day job.
Yeah, no worries on that front. But
it's when the sun is shining, of course.
Yeah, seriously though, you're looking quite festive this evening, Adam, I have to say.
Why, thank you, Zach. I'm feeling quite festive. I just wanted to share some exciting news that since we've started this broadcast, we have raised $2,970 from online donations from people watching the show right now. Wow, that's incredible. Thank you to everyone who's watching, and please know that every dollar you donate tonight goes right back into Grid's incredible programs, and just like Zach's incredible work.
Wow, thanks, Adam. That's awesome to hear the good news. With the help of donors like all of you, Grid has expanded its work into solar on multifamily affordable housing, and into pairing solar with new technologies like energy storage and clean mobility. These days, I'm leading our clean mobility work, which is all about replacing gasoline with sunshine. Here's a story about the Cardenas family and their journey with Grid to a solar-powered transportation future.
For the Cardenas family, who we're here working with today, the solar electric system we're putting in is going to eliminate around 55 tons of greenhouse gas emissions over the system's lifetime. One thing I would wish that everybody would understand about solar power is that it's no longer alternative energy. Solar power is now mainstream energy. In many markets, solar and other types of renewables are actually the cheapest form of generation.
We have the opportunity to make a change and help the world.
I'm seeing firsthand how these programs can transform people's lives, and it's beautiful to think about also the ripple effect that will have down the line.
I'm inspired every day to be able to work with people like the Cardenas family. And Grid's clean mobility work is helping communities replace their dependence on gasoline with locally produced clean energy, delivering savings at the gas pump and big wins around fighting climate pollution and protecting local air quality. One of our biggest partners in this effort has been the Beneficial State Foundation and their groundbreaking Clean Vehicle Assistance Program. The Beneficial State Foundation advocates for an equitable banking system in partnership with Beneficial State Bank. The Beneficial State Foundation is dedicated to finding new ways to make the financial system serve people the way it should be. Beneficial State advocates to end financing for fossil fuels and private prisons and works to include an equity-based criteria for community reinvestments while increasing economic opportunities for immigrants. Grid is proud to honor our longtime partners, Beneficial State Foundation.
We are humbled to join Grid's community of honored changemakers, thanks to the hard work of our Clean Vehicle Assistance Program team and the entire team at Beneficial State Foundation. Now, over to you, Quinn and Michelle.
Powered by the Air Resources Board, the CVA program is uniquely positioned to address the transportation and financial needs of low-income Californians,
while also making strides in the fight against climate change.
Affordable, reliable, and sustainable transportation is vital for many people to survive and thrive in California. It allows people to get to work,
see loved ones, and be active participants in society.
Clean vehicles are one way we can reduce pollution.
The positive impact should be felt by everyone.
The Clean Vehicle Assistance Program is an equity-focused program that provides grants to income-qualified California residents to help them purchase a new or used clean vehicle.
Making a down payment is one of the most common barriers for families living paycheck to paycheck. That's why grants we provide are upfront. We also offer financial tools and resources that help make the financing aspect of purchasing a clean vehicle more accessible.
To date, we've been able to put almost $2.3 million directly in the hands of California families, representing 571 vehicle and charging station grants to our neighbors in need.
Our participants work in every field, including schools, hospitals, and the service industry. Many of them have continued to work through the pandemic, serving functions critical to society.
Some of our participants represent the most economically vulnerable of society,
including the undocumented and people who don't speak English as their first language. Others are first-generation college students who can use extra support.
In this painful moment, we come together in our humanity. This pandemic affects us all, regardless of income or ideology, and we can channel our global empathy towards making systemic change.
Join us in thinking long-term about how to support regenerative, local living economies. Let's fend off another impending crisis, climate chaos, by transitioning to a cleaner, greener, more equitable economy. Let's build wealth for our economically vulnerable,
our neighbors who have been left behind far too often.
Thank you, Beneficial State Foundation. You've been such a great partner. Yat e do here she Tim Willington she na kadna nisle bilagana bushes chain das che ki ani na deskis chinlin dana shop. Hello and thank you for being here tonight. My name is Tim Willink. I'm director of Grid's Tribal Program. I'm originally from Pueblo Pintado, New Mexico, a small community on the Navajo Nation, and I have a strong passion for energy issues and creating solar access on tribal lands. Our tribal program has partnered with over 40 indigenous nations in the United States, working alongside tribes to gain more control over our energy resources. Did you know that according to the National Renewable Energy Labs, indigenous nations have 2% of the land base, yet 5% of the renewable energy potential in the United States. More and more tribes are looking at solar as a means of achieving energy sovereignty, which will keep local dollars in the community and reap the long-term environmental and economic benefits that have long been denied and destroyed. At GRID, we have worked with 40 tribes in California, South Dakota, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Montana, and Washington State. Phew! Installing more than 5 megawatts of clean solar PV systems on indigenous lands. Last summer on the Spokane Nation, my team and I partnered with the Spokane Indian Housing Authority to install 31 systems, totaling over 600 kilowatts of solar energy. This will result in $2.8 million in savings over the next 35 years. We've installed on homes, tribal administrative buildings, and a fish hatchery, all the while providing hands-on training to Spokane tribal citizens. We call this our classroom on the roof, or building local capacity, so that we as tribal citizens can install and service these systems ourselves and create local jobs. Resources, however, remain scarce to carry out this important work, particularly in this time of COVID-19, which is greatly affecting indigenous nations. So please consider becoming a member or making a gift to support the tribal program and GRID. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker and one of our biggest supporters. You may know him from the movie Free Solo and his solo ascent up Yosemite's 3,200-foot El Capitan Mountain, all without a rope. He has been a tremendous partner and supporter and has volunteered a number of times on the roof with us and continues to be a strong advocate for the tribal program and GRID, which is incredibly personally inspiring to me. So without further ado, here's Alex Hunnell.
Hello, my name is Alex Honnold. I'm a professional rock climber and a very enthusiastic GRID alternative supporter. I've been supporting GRID through my foundation for the last maybe 6-7 years, and then I've done a handful of installations whenever I'm around Sacramento at the GRID North Valley. And actually I think I've spoken at a few GRID events in the Bay Area, and I just can't say enough about how much I appreciate the work that GRID is doing and how important it is, I think, for the world. I mean, every time I've done an install, I've come away from it so personally inspired, so heartened by the effort and the impact that it has on people's lives. You know, when I meet the homeowners, I just always come away from installs feeling pretty psyched, feeling pretty optimistic about the course of the world. And I think that particularly right now with so many issues facing the world and you know, climate change and environmental degradation, I think that GRID is a really powerful way to address those kinds of challenges in a way that's also good for human society, that you know, helps people who need it while also improving the planet. And I mean, to me, that's an ideal kind of project. So anyway, just want to say a big thank you to GRID Alternatives for all the work, and I'm looking forward to continuing to support the projects, and big thank you.
Thank you, Alex. You're such a great champion for GRID. We greatly appreciate your support and the financial support of the Honnold Foundation. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right, Tim, I have to interject here because I have some exciting updates to share about our fundraising success. So according to our stats, we have 183 attendees joining us live, including one in Hong Kong. We've received more than 34 gifts. And when you combine the amount of money we've raised tonight during our live broadcast, plus our corporate sponsors, plus all of those of you that have bought tickets, we've raised $99,000 through Interconnection 2020. Can you believe that? Wow.
That's awesome.
We certainly need everybody to get to that $100,000th dollar raised. So don't forget to donate now. But wow, those are some incredible statistics. I never knew we'd get so close to being a 6-figure event. Wow, Tim, did you ever think that after 15 years later, thanks to the help of these supporters, GRID's installed over 13,000 solar systems?
I never would have dreamt that, or that we've generated over 1 billion kilowatt hours of clean energy for families and communities. Did you ever dream when we started planning this event a year ago that we'd have such an amazing turnout and raise almost $100,000 doing the whole thing virtually?
I can't believe it. I'm astonished.
Well, we should definitely celebrate. It's important to have things to celebrate, especially in these times. And speaking of celebrating, I'm celebrating the fact that I now get to introduce my amazing co-founder, Erica Mackey, who's going to round out the evening tonight with her inspiring remarks. Erica is a trailblazer and a fierce advocate for justice, and it is my honor to be her friend and colleague. So Erica, take it away.
Thanks, Tim. I've told this story so many times, but one of my favorite memories of our early days launching Grid Alternatives was when you and I would teach the volunteer orientations. We'd talk about bypass diodes and how solar works, and then you'd stop, lean in, and say, you know, solar's just magic. Fast forward to today, particularly during these times, that phrase means so much more to me. Grid's work has become about so much more than we ever imagined. The magic is that solar is a tool for social justice. For Erica Cook, a widow and mother of small children who jump-started a career in solar by participating in Grid Alternatives' job training program, getting real-world solar experience is about much more than solar. For Erica, solar is about supporting your family, about finding your own strength and doing something new, about a career pathway, about equal opportunity. For community activists in San Francisco's Bayview Hunters Point, who saw solar as a way to address the layers of racism and economic injustice that had led to having a dirty power plant in their neighborhood. When community members worked together to shut down a power plant and won, they saw solar as so much more. Solar is about local power, about choice, about clean air and lower bills for neighborhood families. For La Hacienda Orphanage, located in Tijuana, just a 5-minute walk from the US-Mexico border, their 27 kilowatt solar electric system is about having more money to provide care and educational services to children. It's part of a solution to an expensive and sometimes unreliable energy system that's interrelated with the economic and immigration system that creates the conditions that have left children without parents. Thanks to you, Grid Alternatives is building the clean energy future we all believe in. We're advocating at the city, state, and local and national level for policy we need to realize not only a clean future, but an equitable one. We are the go-to classroom on a roof for thousands of people. And we know now more than ever, Grid's work, our workforce development work, and the future we are building is critical. When this pandemic is over, and it will eventually be, people are going to need good jobs. And there's a lot of work to be done to build a just and more equitable, clean future. As we wrap up Interconnection, the first interconnection to take place online, I want to let you know how much we need you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who has helped Grid, our donors, sponsors, volunteers, and supporters. All of you who are watching, our incredible staff, our honorees, and everyone for whom solar and clean energy is about so much more. Back to you, Adam.
Wow. Thank you, Erica, and thank you, Tim. I totally agree. Solar is magic. Thank you to everyone who has helped Grid. Our donors, sponsors, volunteers, and supporters, all of you who are watching, our incredible interns, our Solar Corps fellows, our staff, our honorees, and all of the communities that welcome us into their homes and onto their roofs, and to all the solar advocates worldwide. Thank you for joining us for Interconnection 2020 tonight. Finally, in closing, I'm thrilled to report that thanks to your donations and our event sponsors, tonight we've raised $104,595 for equitable access to renewable energy in the future. This is tremendous, and we sincerely appreciate your financial support now as ever. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And from all of us at Grid Alternatives, please stay safe and have a great night.